evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Our Point of View Talk Show. We are so glad that you guys could join us here on Facebook Live. Today, we're going to be talking about Black women business owners, the struggles we go through. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons. But before we do that, I want to introduce our guests tonight. First, we have Miss Sheila Bird. Hi, Sheila.
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
Great. Wonderful, as I like to say. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you so much for joining us. Then we have Miss Tamala Johnson. Hi, Tamala.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Amazing, amazing. Thank you also for having me on the show.
Good. Then we have with us Miss Naisha Miller. How are you, Naisha?
Good.
Thank
you for having me as well.
You're welcome. And then we have Miss JJ Fox Hatch. How are you, Miss JJ?
You know, I'm still on that top shelf and rising. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. And we have with us finally our not co-host, my sidekick, Miss Connie Abraham. Hey, Connie.
Hey, everybody.
Connie. Minute.
Hey, hello, ladies. Great to see everybody.
You as well.
So we're going to go ahead and start talking about the Black women business owners. So what I'm going to do, each woman on here is a business owner. So I want to introduce each one, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their business, and then we're going to talk about the pros and the cons. So first, we're going to talk to Miss Sheila Bird. Sheila.
All right, thank you. Well, my business is Southfield Business Center Group, LLC. Actually, what I do is I am a business owner with my husband, and we promote businesses. And one of the things that we do is we also we have a office center where we actually help business owners get started in their business. And then we also have another business where we help provide legal services and underneath that services for business owners, individuals, and families, and in the group arena. My background actually was in nursing, and so I came out of the nursing field to do what I'm doing now. Absolutely love what I do.
Good. Well, thank you very much for sharing. Next, we have Miss Tamala Johnson.
Hello, my name is Tamala Johnson. Like she said, I am an independent beauty consultant with Mary Kay, and I've been in business about 4 years now. And what I love about Mary Kay, we have something from the top of your head to the sole of your feet. So if you need any skincare, body care, assistance, I would be happy to help you out.
Great, thank you so much. And next we have Miss JJ Fox Hatch.
Hello, everyone. I'm JJ Fox Hatch. I am the owner of Fox Trap Radio, Fox Hatch and Associates, Vogan TV Network, several networks, organizations. It's just a lot. My husband and I are proud owners now, both together in a lot of these businesses. I consider myself as a blessed serial entrepreneur. So yeah, that's just a little bit of the things that we do.
Great. And next we have Miss Naisha. Naisha, can you tell us a little bit about your business?
My business is Passion for Learning Academy. It's a virtual school, as well as we offer private tutoring for students ages 6 through 12 or 13, because it's first grade through 8th with math and reading. Is all virtually, so it's easy, accessible for everyone. And then I actually have a master's in business, no, paralegal. So that's the reason I'm for education.
Okay, great. That's awesome. So as we can see, we have a variety of businesses that Black women do, that we own, that we run, that we're passionate about. So what I want to start doing is talk about some of the challenges that we have by being Black women who own our own businesses. What are some of the challenges that we have? And we're going to start with Ms. JJ.
I think that it all starts off. It's the challenges. I wouldn't say that is so much of challenges. My challenge was always just the faith that I have to have, and staying stable in that, and believing in God, and no matter what I was seeing, no matter what I was feeling, and regardless what was around me. That's probably the only challenge I had, was to continue to believe that God said to continue these businesses, to stay in this business, to keep moving forth in this business. That's probably been my biggest challenge. It's just fighting with my faith and trying to remain obedient.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Okay, Miss Sheila, what do you think? What are some of the
Oh,
challenges?
yes, so some of the challenges that I face, as I stated, I had my career in nursing. And so when I retired early from there and just began my own business along with my husband, I faced a lot of what is wrong with you? How could you possibly leave nursing? And so, it was disappointing, but if I had bought into all of that, I would still be stuck in that situation that I was in where I was concerned about retirement or, that basically they had all the control. And I wanted to be a business owner that took care of my life. I wanted to be independent. And so it was a lot of pushing through that. And then another thing I had to deal with, because as I said, I was a business owner with my husband. He would get recognized as the business owner and I wouldn't. So sometimes I had to really fight to become my own entity, my own person, okay, in business and have people recognize me for what I do. And so he's helped me with that because he'll push me out there too. So absolutely, those are two major things that I had to deal
Wow. Okay. So what do you think, Tamala? What do you think are some of the challenges that you're having?
Well, because I'm in Mary Kay, they automatically assume it's a woman business anyway. So that's not a challenge right there. I think the challenge that I have is just like JJ was saying, keeping the faith, but women keeping their word. You know, I could talk to you because I'm telling you, trying to be in entrepreneurship is hard work. You have to grind every day. And when you used to having a check, and I would love to leave my even though I'm retired, I would love to leave my 9 to 5 and just do Mary Kay. But just me practicing it while I'm not practicing, but doing the business in the meantime, part-time, it is a challenge. It's getting out there every day, talking to women. Women are excited about wanting to do a show, but they don't keep their word. They take my product, then they just don't do anything else with it. They don't answer their phone. They just don't say anything. And I said, that's my biggest challenge is somebody keeping their word, and I just don't, I guess with me being, I don't see how somebody can do that. How can you take something from somebody and then just ignore them?
Yeah.
That's the only challenge that I'm having.
Yeah, and that's a big challenge too. Just getting
Mhm.
your supporters, getting people there to help you and
Right.
Yeah.
say that they're going to do something and keep their word with it. But
Mhm.
what about you, Naisha? What do you think your challenge is?
I think I'm in agreement with everybody, which gave good examples of some challenges that we have. But I think the biggest challenge that I have by being education is parents not seeing it as a necessity, as a more of something just in case, than something more as a prereq to get their kids to the point where they need to be educational wise. So that's my biggest obstacle is trying to get parents to see how important the children's education is and the worth and the time you take into so into those children's lives are priceless. So that's my biggest challenge. And also for your faith. You got to stay firm on your faith, whatever vision God has given you, to stick with it no matter what it may look like today or tomorrow, because you always one step or one client or one booking away from getting to that million and thousand. So that's how we just got to set ourselves apart of how we feel and keep fighting it and believing in our vision that God has given us.
You're true. You're true. Because I always say, that next step could have been the step that put you over, but you gave up. You gave up. You just take one more step, just one more step. So, Connie, what do you think?
Um, the biggest challenge, I don't know. All of my businesses, I am a business owner as well, ladies, and I do have a 9 to 5. I call my 9 to 5 though my silent investor, because my silent investor helps me to promote my business, my own business, while I'm doing that job over there. So that is my silent investor. I love what I do. I am in education. But on the side of that, I do life coaching, and it's called Evolve with Eliana. And I do life coaching and family coaching, which has been an absolute tremendous blessing. And I think that's because I've actually been doing it so long, so really hasn't been a challenge to gain clientele. because the people know who I am. And it's really just growing by word of mouth. And then the other thing, I work also alongside of my husband. We have what is called the Human Excellence Resource Group. And what we teach is life management skills. We've been in the prisons, we go into juvenile services, we go in and deal with families. Right now, we are very big on working with the children in the DFACS, Division of Youth and Family Services. So I don't know what it's called, maybe where you are, but it's working with the children. And we are what is considered their behavior aides, their counselors, to try to help them work through their lives and what they're experiencing. A lot of these babies are very, very young. So my biggest challenge, that is my heartbeat, working with the children, my husband and I, that's our heartbeat. And the biggest challenge for us is just getting them to understand that somebody out here loves them and cares for them. And then getting the people who foster them to also share that love and care with the children as well. And that has been a very big challenge because between my husband and I, we love children. And every time we encounter somebody, Lord have mercy, if he ain't coming home talking about, I got one I just want to bring home, and here I come, can we just bring it? No. So our challenge now is to really try to find a place to house these babies while they're in transition and trying to find housing for them. So that's what we're really working on now, trying to get with the state and get all the necessary information and do all the necessary documentation to try to get a home where we can really actually bring these children and nurture them and love them and care for them, and then assist those caseworkers in the system getting them into the home. So it really hasn't been and like I guess a few of the ladies said, when your faith is strong and when you know you've been called to something, I don't call it a challenge. I don't call it a difficulty, but I believe it's what my husband and I have been called to do. And so because we know that we've been called to do it, we don't have a choice but to do it. You understand what I'm saying? But the challenge for me is to getting these babies, even there's some teenagers, I mean, it's just it just is very vast. But I think that as African-American women, we always have to work harder. And like one lady said, she always in the shadow of her husband, you know what I mean? And for so long, I was Emmanuel's wife. Like, I didn't even have a name. Emmanuel's wife. Oh my, do you know Emmanuel's wife? She's very powerful. I have a name. It is Eliana Connie. And like the sister said, I had to begin to establish, people needed to see me for who I was. And I was not just his wife. I was just not the senior vice president of the company, but I had my own identity and I could stand on my own 2 feet, and I think that that's a challenge for all of us when you have a mate, but I thank God, like she said, my husband really pushed me forward. Like, no, put me out there, get in the mic. No, you speak, you go to this interview and things of that nature. So the blessing is that we have mates that have been supportive of us and pushing us out there, even when society says we're not supposed to be out there. But I think that it's awesome that all these women have all of y'all sisters on that have this drive to, make it happen, regardless as to what society says. Even Jackie, she's a business. I mean, we all on here, we all are entrepreneurs. We all have businesses that we are trying to build, and we all had to have that faith not to give up, and God give us a vision years and years ago, but guess what? We may not have stepped out on faith and operated, but we took pen to the paper and wrote it down and wrote down that dream and wrote down that vision and knew what we were called to do. So yeah, okay, well, it took me 30 years, but here I am, right? Getting it done. So I think that the greatest challenge for most of us, like I said, as women, is breaking down that barrier of being an African-American woman, and then also just being a woman across the board.
Yeah. So JJ, with you working with your husband, how is that, how does that
amazing
work?
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing to have someone so supportive, that covers me, that pulls even more out of me that I didn't even know was there. It is simply amazing. I love working with my husband. I love it. I just love having that person that will just right along with your faith, you go in agreement with, and we just believe in standing what God is calling us to do, and we just move forward. And so I just love being a partner with my husband.
See, we just heard Connie and JJ say how wonderful it is working with their husbands. And now there are some single women on here who don't have a husband, don't have anyone that can help them. What's the struggle like for you, Tamala? Because I mean, you don't have a husband or somebody who's pushing you and everything. I don't have anyone who's pushing me. I have to do this myself. So what's it like for you, Tamala?
You know, I have a strong faith, and I have friends like you and Cinta, where we talk all the time. And you have to have a support system. So, I mean, I think it's wonderful here, JJ and Connie talking about that. Even Sheila, you know, that's what every woman wants, a man that supports them, because some don't have it that way. But right now it's me. So because of my faith, because I do depend on the Lord, and I'm telling you, I have to have a word every morning in order to get me through, because I'm like, Lord, you know, like I said, it's that last chip, you know, and that'll be my breakthrough. So I keep pushing. I keep pushing. So that's what I build on.
But let me kind of make something very clear, because I'm a newlywed, and so wait a minute, I already been in the business 30 years, so I was already pushing it by myself. It's just that now, you know what I mean, with this union, I'm able to pull out even more. I didn't always have that spouse. Just because you married don't mean you have someone that's going to be supportive. And just because you're single and have somebody on the side does not mean that someone is going to be supportive. You still yet have to stand in that faith and keep trusting and believing that God has told you to do what you're supposed to do. Now, it's beautiful to have that one that you can confine in and you can move together in, but it has not always been that way. So I know the difference between both sides. And I just like this supportive side a whole lot better.
Yeah. Naisha, what about you? I mean, are you married?
I am not married. I'm a single girl.
Okay, so how is it for you?
I would say you got to put a lot of effort in it, and you have to have a great support system, like a well-rounded support system. Someone that can help you on the financial side, someone can help you with the marketing side, someone that can support you with your audience, your social media. So you just have to have well-rounded, accountable people in your life when you're single to not feel that void, because marriage is different than singleness, but to be your support system that keep you and push you to that next level.
Yeah. Because I know I have it hard. Well, no, I'm not going to say I have it hard. I'm totally blessed. I'm totally blessed. But it's like, you know, if I had the love and support that JJ has with her husband, or Sheila has with her husband, or Connie has with their husband, you know, it seemed like that would make you want to go more, because you know you have that strong support system behind you, you know. But being that I'm a female and I'm single, I have a support system in my female friends and my girlfriends. Because like every morning at 7:30 in the morning, myself, Tamala, and Cinta, we're on the phone at 7:30 in the morning every morning. That's why I'm always late getting on your live, JJ, because I'm on the phone with them first. And we're reading a book. It's 100 Days of Believing Bigger. And tomorrow is going to be day number 100.
Congratulations.
We started this book September the 11th of last year. Every day we read a new page and we talk about it, and we talk about our feelings and all, and we motivate, we encourage, we uplift each other, and we talk about our businesses, you know, and there's times when in the beginning, I used to cry all the time. I was the biggest crybaby, but now I'm stronger. Why are you shaking your head, Tamala? But now I'm stronger. I'm stronger, you know, because I have that support system behind me who are helping me. It's like, you know, don't give up, don't give up. And I'm like, it's my vision. God gave it to me. I'm not going to give up, you know, because I know that God gave me this vision and he gave me the tools to carry this vision out. And if I feel that I'm by myself, I should always know that I'm not. He's always there for me. And if I'm going through something and I can't walk that path by myself, I need to know that he's carrying me. So I don't need to worry about it. But to have the girlfriends that you have, because I mean, there's been days I call JJ and we're talking for a while. I might be crying, or, you know, but she's encouraging me and she's motivating me, and she has her Facebook Live every morning, and she's on there, and I'm like, oh my God, we just talked about that yesterday. It seemed like me and Tamala and Cynthia are talking about one thing, and then when I go on the live with JJ, she's talking about the same thing. I'm like, God, thank you. Thank you.
Confirmation. Them your confirmation.
It's confirmation. It's just amazing. And I'm like, there's no reason for me to be discouraged. Just keep on, and I love it. And then I can call Connie and I can just cry, let it go. And she can talking and we'll pray together and everything. I mean, it's great to have, your female friends, your female sisters, because it's hard trying to be an entrepreneur out here. It's really hard because you're on I'm on different Facebook groups, and you hear the women always saying, I just want to give up. I don't have the support. I don't have the funds. I can't afford it anymore. And I mean, you don't want to hear that. And I'm always saying, don't give up. Don't give up. Whatever you do, God got you. Don't give up. So with that being said, let's talk about the funding. Because if you're married, you have that additional income that could possibly help you with your business. And if you're not, where's the funding coming from? Where do we get this to keep us going? How do we do that?
You first got to start off with faith. I don't care how you do it and how you put it. You just don't come back to that faith, and especially being an entrepreneur and you don't know where that money coming from. You're going to have to trust God and keep your trust in God more than you can even put in man. I mean, it's good to have a spouse come in there. At the end of the day, it's good to join together. You're a force by yourself. You're a movement by yourself, but you're a force when you're together. But it's still going to come back to that faith. It's still going to come back to what God is providing and how God is providing. And now you may have faith by yourself. Now you're getting with your husband. You got to have faith with him. And you got to have faith to move to the next level. You got to still have trust. That's the only thing that has really kept me when I wanted to give up, was my trust in God and my faith. You know what I mean? Even with the radio station, the station been up there for 8 years, now moving into different things and so on and so forth. It's been, I'll tell you this, this was the greatest thing that God ever told me. I was complaining. Can you believe that? I was complaining. And the greatest thing that God told me, because we have multiple businesses, we have several businesses. And I was talking about one of the business was not making no money. And it wasn't making no money for 7 years. At least the type of money I wanted. Okay. And I heard God tell me clearly. And I start crying out to God, Lord, we need to get rid of this one. It's not making no money. He said it was never about your profit. It was about your faithfulness. Are you going to continue to do what I asked you to do, no matter how hard it gets? Are you going to stay on that road and keep moving? Or are you just going to keep giving up? Are you going to stay in your faith? At the end of the day, it's going to be about your faith and trust in God.
Right.
It's going to, especially being an entrepreneur, at the end of the day, now it's just you and your husband got to join together, trusting in God. And sometimes the funding don't be there. Don't always think the funding will be there as an entrepreneur. Baby, sometimes it's not there and you lose your breath. But you still got to go back to that faith and trust in God. And he always works it out.
Always.
Always.
Yeah. So how is that with
and I wanted to say, also for the women, and I was talking to my cousin, she writes for grants, but she was telling me, because I was sharing with her about my business, the one with Evolve Eliana, the life coaching, and she was sharing with me that we, as women, we have to go, there's so much money out there for us, she said, we have to go and get it. She was telling me that, she said, just look up, go, into Georgia and say, Georgia, Black women in business in Georgia, financial assistance for Black business women in business in Georgia, because she said the money is out there, but we are not applying for the money. And so when we don't apply for the money, they find other things to do with the money. So we really have to go out and start looking for the money, she said, because when you go looking for the money, it's going to find you. And then once you find it, you connect to people. It might say you need this person on your board, and you might need that person on your board, and you might need this person to write for your grant, which she is a grant writer, because she was saying, if you find something, let me know, let me take a look at it. Let me see how we can write for your money, so that you can start making good money at what you're doing and not just be out here. She said, because African-American women, that's unfortunately, we don't go after the dollars. So we have to start searching out and going after the dollars, even like with you, Jack, with the JSL network. We got to start going out, searching, looking for how we can get a hold of these dollars. So I said to her, she said she was going to send me a couple of the websites because she's in Jersey. And she said they have them in Jersey. They have to have the same thing in Georgia because it goes state to state, so that we can start looking at these things and saying, okay, do I qualify for this money? Do I qualify for that money? And she said that's how you can also begin to build your business, because they want the money to be spent. But if we don't go spend it, if we don't go after it, how do we know? And because we didn't know, I was like, I never knew that. I did not know that there was money that I need to go after for what I'm trying to do. And so I think that that's another thing that we have to do as women, African-American women. We got to start reading and searching and finding out and going to find this money and pulling it into us. You know what I mean? And then my other, the biggest thing I operate from is what I speak, I shall have. You know, so what I speak out of my mouth, I shall become. So I talk all the time about my name going to be on billboards. I'm going to be making millions of dollars. My girls' home is going to be laid out, baby. When them girls come to my girls' home, they're going to get this, they're going to get it. I start putting it into the atmosphere because I want that energy to come back to me. Now, has it been manifested? Not yet, but I believe God is going to manifest all of it because I begin to speak it out of my mouth. Like Jackie said, when people, I can't go on, I ain't confessing none of that. My business, my book's going to be so big, I'm gonna have to get an assistant to be taking the appointments because I'm be able to take them no more. You know what I mean? But that's where I am. And okay, I'm 59 and yep, 59. And this is what I'm speaking over my businesses, even over my husband and I'm thanking God because our contracts is coming in from the state, like left and right. We're gonna have to hire so many people because we're gonna be contracted. Our business is gonna be contracted out. So I think that what we have to do is encourage one another to continue to speak life to our businesses. You know what I mean? One thing I did, I gave our businesses back to God. I said, these are your businesses. You're just making us the entrepreneurs over what you want us to do. So you were going to have to be the provider. And like JJ said, hey, JJ, it's been a long time. You look fabulous.
Realize it was her.
I'm sorry. But what she was saying, you know what I mean, is that you just gotta have, you gotta, even when it get rough, you know what I mean? Because we've had rough patches. We even had time when it was like oodles and noodles and peanut butter and jelly. But guess what? We didn't give up. We didn't say this is our end. This is how we're gonna end up. This is just a bend in the road. And we're gonna get right back on track. And it's gonna begin to mount and build and mount and build. And I think that having my husband alongside us both, you know, because he's a big faith walker. My husband, I'd be like, oh, we gonna do what?
I love it.
You know what I mean? But I be like, you're right, babe. Amen. Praise God. We're gonna do it together. You know, but he has really helped me in that faith walk, because when he speaks and when he say it's going to happen, it may not happen in that moment, but I'm telling you, God opens the door. And so
Always.
that's really where I pull my string from, even just hearing other sisters' testimony. So even like Jackie said, when they be on and they be like, I can't do it, I be like, we not speaking that. We cancel the power of them words right now. We are not speaking that over your business. We're not speaking that over your life. We are speaking health, wealth, and prosperity. Because guess what? We gotta raise up some other young African American women to do what we do. It ain't just about us. You know what I mean? And so that's really where I, gain my strength and find the wherewithal to just push and move forward and, wipe them tears from your eyes. Lord, what we gonna do? But you get up from there, you know what I mean? You wipe them tears and God said, I got you.
Always.
It ain't about your pace. It ain't about how soon, like JJ said, it might not have been the money I want to make. Now I'm making the money I want, but am I going to be making the money I know I can make? And it's not just about building for me, because I'm blessed. I'm blessed. But it certainly is about building for the women, the young women that I'm going to mentor, that are coming up behind me, that are going to need the resources that I'm going to be able to provide for them. And my husband and I, for the children, we're to bless for the resources that we're going to be able to provide. Because guess what? We used to do it before when we was making all that money. We lost, our contract is ended, but God knows we did what was right when he blessed us. So that's why I know and believe that it's coming back greater. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I just continue to speak of
good seed in the ground.
Yep.
Right.
That's it.
But the thing that I love about that is you ladies have been in business over 10 years, And we have a microwave generation right now. They want to see it right now. But would you all keep pushing and staying there until you get to where you need to get to and beyond? They need to see that. And
Yeah.
and Connie, I'm telling you, I need to have you on an intercom every morning speaking to me. Because girl, you lit a fire
Yeah.
up in me just now.
Absolutely. Mhm. Yeah, I'm reading a book right now. Is I have what I say, and I mean it's a short read, but I speak affirmations every single day, and if I feel empowered each time I get up and I read that book, Bible first, okay, and then I read my affirmations, and JJ talking about faith. I mean, I would not be able to do what I do without faith, without believing in God and trusting Him to order my steps every single day, because you can come up against all kinds of adversities. And if we
Yes.
don't, or we're not strong in our faith, it will destroy us, because we are those independent, those entrepreneurs that are striving to have our success. And each and every one, as I'm hearing, because we want to give back. We want to be able to give back to bless someone else. And that's how I know without a doubt in my heart that I'm doing what God wants me to do, because he opens the doors. He shows me, ways that I need to keep going.
Right.
I had a Ms. Connie, when you were talking about the monies that are out there, I've always dreamed of wanting a nonprofit. So I started when I used to live in Michigan, guys, and I moved here to Georgia 2 years ago, and I wanted to have a nonprofit. So what did I do? I ended up, God opened the door and brought someone to me who just said, hey, I can help you to do that. And what she did was just laid it out, even took classes, and was able to start that nonprofit, right? And then things got, rough, and we moved, one thing, and then the nonprofit now we begin its way here in Georgia. But again, God brought another phenomenal woman into my life who just again blessed me to saying, you have this great opportunity here in front of you. Look at all what that you can do. She's a grant writer. She's like, look at everything that you can, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, okay, Lord, thank you. All I can just give him all the glory, because it is definitely not me, okay, at all. And all I want to know is that I want him to lead my steps, just lead my steps where I want to go. So I just feel that passion, each of every one of us have. But I also am hearing that we all have other women who are in our lives that are blessing us, support, right? And I'm a part of a women's group called Peak Performance. We meet every week and we empower each other every week. Doing our business and encouraging one another, encouraging us to step out of our comfort zones, those type of things. How you can get in that comfort zone, you don't want to speak, you don't want, but encouraging and lifting each other's up in that way. And then another group that I'm with called Ladies of Justice. So what we do is so important, and we need to continue it, because we don't know, the impact that we can have on someone's life, even if we take a few minutes and spend some time with them and talk. So that's our mission. I believe that. Yeah.
That's gonna be great.
Mhm.
It's so much. It's so much. You know what? You actually, I know me personally, you get to the point where you're going to trust God all the way, and that there is absolutely no option to stop. It's no option for me to stop. I'm going to finish strong, and I'm going to finish it the way God wants me to, following Him and moving into the direction that He wants us to go. It's just no option to stop. Like when I was in my 30s, I could have fell and hit the ground and had a temper tantrum and so on and so forth. But right now, after 50s, no, there's no option. Finish strong. You can cry if you want to, but finish strong and stand in your faith. Because what God is putting before you is not just for your generation, it's for the next. And so what we're carrying it is into the next generation. Yes, it gets hard. Yes, sometimes your faith can waver, but when you know that you don't even have an option to stop,
Right.
you're gonna cry, wipe your eyes, get back up, and keep going.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yep.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So what about family, and how do we balance family with being entrepreneurs? I mean, because we don't mean our hours are different. They're not regular 9 to 5 hours. So how do you balance family and your business? Naisha.
Well, because I have a 9 to 5, and then so I say my job supports my vision, so it supports my business, and then I have a daughter that I'm raising that's 13. So you have to kind of balance it out where I set time for this, set time for the business, like an hour or 2 hours or so out of the day, so I can be more balanced, because it can get overwhelming trying to work a job 9 to 5, trying to promote your business, get your clients, try to find funding and all that. It can be very consuming, but you just have to balance yourself, because it doesn't come easy when you're doing it single-handedly. It can be difficult, and it also can be discouraging. But as long as you know that what you're doing is beneficial for someone, needs it, someone that will be blessed for your obedience, that's priceless for me. That's what keeps me going, because I know that my daughter sees me as doing these things, being a multitask mother, woman, employee, as well as an entrepreneur, trying to balance it all. So they're giving a sense of integrity and honesty. You just have to stay grounded in all that you do and just put God first in everything that you do. You can accomplish pretty much anything. So that's how I see it. And you can balance. I know everybody's way of balancing is different. They might write their schedule out like I did monthly. I buy a planner for the year to help me write out everything, appointments, Zoom calls, and all that, just to keep, I don't want to miss anything, and I don't want to be overwhelmed. So I have to write it out and see what it looks like for that month, that week, that day, and plan it out like that and make it easy for me to and stay balanced.
So true. So true. Miss Tam.
I think for me, well, my children are grown now, but like my husband and I, we originally started our business back in 1995, 96. And so I had a lot of help, I must say. I mean, my sister was there. I had a lot of help with my children. I have 5 boys, no daughters. And I just had that help. Everybody was pitching it. Everybody was helping. It was just a blessing for my husband and I, because we traveled a lot. Our business we were in 14 prisons in the state of New Jersey. We were in Delaware. We were in Michigan. So we were always flying and going. And thank God enough of my family was there to kind of, support us as we branched out and worked the business. So as it grew, of course, as the business grew, then we were able to, like, my children had a nanny, you know what I mean? I was able to hire somebody to kind of take care of them. But I was still a very much hands-on mother. So a lot of times my husband would do most of the traveling and going into the prisons, because I wanted my children to know that mommy was there. Because when I was coming up, my mother worked 2 jobs. So me and my sister were involved in a lot, but mommy couldn't be at the stuff when we were, that she just couldn't go. So it was important for me that as my children grew and as the business grew, that they understood that their mother and their father was a very big support of everything that they do. And I believe because we were very hands-on, like I had a strict schedule. Like, you come home from school, you get that snack, you sit at that table, we sitting down, we getting your homework done. I was a very hands-on parent. I was at every parent meeting, you know what I mean? I was that person because I missed that growing up, and I did not want my children to miss out on that. And now today, all of my sons are very successful, not because, I don't say it's because of me and my husband, but it's certainly because of God first and what we put in them, you know what I mean? And the examples that were set before them. So now they are able to know and understand the seriousness of running a business. So we were able to run the business, but run the household, which I thought was very important for my children to understand. I wanted them to know that they didn't need a woman to take care of them. So they needed to know how to cook. They needed to know how to do their laundry. They needed to know how to clean a house. You know what I mean? They needed all of these things, because as they grew and matured, I wanted them to understand the value, okay, of having your parents in your lives. And so I was really blessed, I must say, in being able to balance my family life, because like I said, I had help, and then my husband and I, we kind of traveled a lot together. We would bring the boys on, on the weekends, we'd have somebody bring them to where we are, depending on what we had to do. And we incorporated a lot of family time, vacations, and things of that nature, because we didn't want them to think that we were just pouring into people, and then they weren't getting anything, so we wanted to pour into them as well. So that's really how we brought the balance to doing the work and parenting and family. Because with 5 children, honey, I was cooking pots of spaghetti that would last 3 days. You know what I'm saying? Stew beef and rice, the long meals, that they
No, that's
eat.
right.
That lasts a few days, having the cabinets filled with snacks, all of those wonderful things. But it turned out, it all worked out, to God be the glory. But it was challenging at times, but it was good, just like the sister said about her daughter, balancing and letting her see, yes, I'm a single mom, but guess what? I'm making it happen for you, for us, and I think that, when you're young, you really didn't see it, because even as my sister and I, we're grown now, and we just lost our mom a year ago. But now, we would tell my mom, but as the years went on, we said to her, we understand now. You had to work 2 jobs. So we thought you didn't love us enough. Like you did, but no, she was building a foundation. She was showing us how to make it happen as a single parent. This is what, when we lived in the projects, we didn't know. We thought we had the finest apartment in the project. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, we live in the project, and what? Because we thought we had arrived. And then when we moved into the house, forget about it. You know what I mean? But my mother was still that single mother, working and making it happen for me and my sister, so that now when we became adults, we understood it, and we understood the value of giving those morals to our own children, so that they would understand it as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hands-on parenting is amazing. We have to balance ourselves out. And you're going to be a parent regardless. Ups and downs of a business, you still have to be that parent for those kids. Because I don't want no regrets. I don't want to miss nothing. Milestone, I'm there. All of that.
Right. Absolutely.
It's just the sacrifices we make for our kids. They know it in the long run, not right now, but they'll know and cherish it and appreciate you for that.
Because I know my children are 16 years apart. I have a 42-year-old, a 40-year-old, a 29-year-old, and a 26-year-old that are 16 years apart. So I basically raised the first 2, and I just put my life on hold. But when the second 2 came around, I'm like, I'm getting older. I need to go ahead and do what it is I want to do. I can't wait for y'all to grow up, because as you're growing, I'm growing. And I've always wanted to get into law enforcement. So I told my younger 2, we're going to have to go through this together, because you're going to have to help mommy study, or you're going to have to be quiet while I'm studying, go to your room or do whatever. But in order for me to do this, I have to do it now, because I can't wait until you guys are older. We just have to, try to, get it together and work together. And that's what I wound up doing. That's what, sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to put your life on hold, because I went to college in 1986 is when I first, no, in 85 is when I started it. I didn't graduate until 2017, so it took me 30 years to finish an associate degree, but it was life, I finished. That was the main thing, is that
Absolutely.
I finished, I did it, and then once they got grown, it's like, okay, now I have to do something for me. So that's when I started OPOV, and then the JSL network, and now Mary Kay. Now I'm a Mary Kay consultant. So, but I have these 3 different companies that I'm working with, but they're helping each other. Like Mary Kay is helping me with the JSL, to push the JSL, because it's giving me income to help that, but it's like, I'm doing everything. I'm a one woman marketing team here. I'm doing everything. And then I have to maintain the house. And then we have a dog. I have to let the dog out. I have to spend time with the dog. Well, I don't spend time with the dog. She spends time with me, but still she's family. So you still have to adjust everything. You have to make it work, especially when you're by yourself, you have to make it work, because, the kids aren't going to be around you all the time, but I started the JSL network for generational wealth for them. And I thought with me starting it for a generational wealth for my children, that they would want to be a part of it. Nope.
But you know what, Jack? Here's the
They're doing
thing.
their own thing.
here's the thing. My son, and I said the same thing about my son, because that's our thinking. Like the Human Excellence Resource Group, people gonna need life management skills for the rest of their lives. You will have this business forever. It will be for you. It will be for your children, for your children's children. We are building legacy, right? And so I was having this conversation with my youngest son and my sister, and we were sitting around talking about it. And my son was sharing with me, and this is something that you all can maybe just ponder in your mind. And he was saying, Mommy, that worked for y'all when your generation, maybe your grandmother and your grandmother, and then your mother, you know what I mean? He said that worked for y'all. He said, but the generations that are existing today, we are about building our own. So while the Human Excellence Resource Group may be you and daddy's dream and legacy, and yes, maybe one of your grandchildren may come along and run your women's group or run your group home, but what if she doesn't? You know what I mean? What if the legacy, what if she decides that, well, Granny, you did a great job, but now I want to build my own business and I want to be a jewelry designer. You know what I mean? He said, so don't be upset at the fact that we not all jumping to be on the board of directors of your company, because we're gonna support you. We love what you do. We think what you and daddy are doing great, but understand that we have dreams, we have vision, we have aspirations as well that we want to do to make you guys proud. And so while the legacy may not continue as Evolve with Eliana or the Human Excellence Resource Group, but the legacy will continue in the Abraham Nation, because we will build, we will be great. There will be things that will carry on the name of Abraham. So that's what you have to walk in and understand that. And when he said that, it was like a light came on. You know what? You're right. Because what my mother wanted to do, I didn't want to do what my mom did. And I certainly wasn't thinking about working on 2 jobs to support. You understand what I'm saying? I'm thinking about how I could become an entrepreneur. So we always want more for our children. We want them to be better. We want them to be greater than we ever could think of being. And, thank God my children are all doing that. They're better, they're great. I mean, one of my sons make more money than me. Him and his daddy making the same amount of money. I'm like, wait a minute here. You know what I mean? But we got to be excited about that, because guess what? That's what we put in them. That's what we want for our children. So we talking about legacy. So this is what my husband said. He said, you know what? What we doing is going to be for our grandchildren, because our children already told us, all right, y'all want a house in Atlanta, y'all want to be in Atlanta, we might not want to live in Atlanta. So if y'all want a house in Atlanta, okay, y'all can have a house in Atlanta, but don't think that when y'all leave here that it's going to be a house in Atlanta because y'all wanted a house here. We might sell it and do something else, which I had to get it. You know what I mean? I get it. So my husband said, this is what, so we only have one grandson, he's 10. So now he's on our board. We have him on the phone calls. We have him, but he's very intelligent. He's very, very intelligent. I mean, amazingly intelligent. He goes to a school in Florida that's only for children with a certain level of an IQ. Like he's one ordinary kid. And so we have him on the calls and he acting like the general of the board, honey, sitting in there having kind of, well, stop. I think that we should. And we're like, oh, that's a good point, grandson. But it's involving him. So who knows that maybe he might be the one to pick up the reins, you understand, and run with the business. So ladies, I just want to encourage you that if they don't, it's okay. But as long as they're talking about building and entrepreneurship and making money and leaving for somebody else to grow, we want to encourage that as well. So, Jack, Jack, it might be one of your grandbabies, you know what I mean? But you just continue to build it. You understand what I'm saying? And you continue to work it. Or it may not be a grandchild. It may be one young lady that you mentor that grows up and runs the business. You understand? They don't have to necessarily be one of the children that you birthed, but it could be one of the children that you mentor, that you develop, that you grow. Like one of my little girls, I think that she would be one of the persons that would take the reins of my girls' home. She would love to do something like that, because when I got her, she was in the system and I groomed her and developed her. You understand what I'm saying? So it may not necessarily be somebody who we birthed, but it could be somebody else that we've poured into, and it could come and run with the JSO network. Or one of your children could come back and say, you know what, this is what mommy wanted to do, I'm gonna run with it. So you just never know.
Yeah. So should we talk to them about what our interest is, like, before we actually do it, to see if there's something that they will continue with? Because I mean, we're trying to, build generational wealth. We're trying to do this for them. So should we talk to them about it first, or just go ahead and do it? And
I mean, we did that. We set up a meeting. This is the Zoom call. My husband said, whoever get on, whoever don't. 3 of our sons got on, the other 2 didn't. Oh, well, okay, well. And we got to be okay with that.
yeah.
Because that said to us, okay, well, we're not really interested in it. You could use my name on the board, but, or, they were too busy, you know what I mean? And it's so fine. We have to be okay with it. Like, we can't just let it, because they don't find enough interest in it to be a part of it. Or they might have been mad at us one day. We don't know. Okay, you had an attitude with me. You ain't want to jump on. Okay, well, see me next meeting. I'll Zoom you again. Maybe you'll be feeling better,
But
I mean, real talk, you know what I mean?
That's
That's
serious,
real
yes.
talk.
I
I'm
think
probably the outsider on that one. On all of that. I'm probably the outsider on that one. I just, with the kids, let me just say this. My conversation with them was a lot different. Like I said, I may be on the outside of this all when it comes to that. Of course, yes, we're building something, and we want our children to know that it is theirs. But what I did with my children is to sit them down way before they even, I mean, they were in elementary or junior high or whatever. And I told them the greatest inheritance that I could ever leave you is to introduce you to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's going to last for eternity. I said, the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is to go before God and ask God, what is it in you that he put you on this earth to do? Because I can give you a long list of things, but it may not match up to what God wants you to do. I can be focused on building this company, building this inheritance for you, and God may have you go out to Africa in the wilderness and be blessing somebody else as a missionary. So I always told them, I said, the greatest thing that I can do for you is to introduce you to Jesus, and to always ask you to go and ask God what it is that you wanted to do. I've been in the entertainment for over 30 years. My kids are way over 30 years. And my kids never did want to be involved. They didn't care about the celebrities. They didn't care about the entertainment, and so on and so forth. But when they went and asked God, what is it for them to do? I found out I have a 37-year-old, a 31-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 12-year-old. I found out that the things that God had already put in them were things that we were going to need inside of the company. Like my oldest daughter is one of the top graphic designers in the country. Okay. And so they all came with their own thing. And I didn't have to say a word, because what was in them fit into what we were building. And I just think, like I say, that's, to me, that's on the side of it, because what's in somebody is that it'll benefit for what you're doing, or where you're going, or what you want to do, or what you want to build. It's what's in them. Your grandson, he has something in him that God placed in him. Why? Because when God placed it in you, he placed it in someone else to keep carrying it on. And yes, you're right, it may not be your children, and it may be another lady, it may be another man, it may be somebody else. But I don't get discouraged if they was not to go into this area. But I am very pleased that what they are loving to do is something that is needed in a company, that I could send their company an invoice, because they are also now entrepreneurs. So what they got from me is how to survive as an entrepreneur, how to have faith and to trust God as an entrepreneur, and how to keep going. And not to depend, really don't depend on anyone but God. That's male, female, or no matter what. Even if you got the support, make sure all your trust is in God.
That's good. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Tamala,
Yeah.
what about you? Is your daughter, is she interested in doing, Mary Kay? Is she interested in following in your footsteps? Because you've been in it for 4 years. I mean, women are retiring from Mary Kay. They're driving those pink cars and making 6 and 7 figures. So, it's a big business.
That is true, but the answer is no. So no, she is not interested. But it's funny how you talk about how you juggle, because my mom was thinking, well, my children are grown, but my daughter has moved back in with me, and it's so fun. She says, "Do you have a Zoom meeting tonight?" And I said, "Yes." Oh my God, Mary Kay, Mary Kay, Mary Kay. So, but she wants my time, and I think that's so funny because how old is my? I mean, she just turned 32, and I'm thinking, now when you was across town, you don't want my time like this, but you're in my house now, you want my time. So like Nikisha, what's in her name? Nikisha. Anyway, but
Naisha.
she was saying that you're gonna always be a parent, and we all know that, but I didn't think it would still be to that extent. They do their own thing. But no, I want to do Mary Kay.
My sister has been in Mary Kay for 30 years. I'm telling you, she's been very, very, very successful on Mary Kay. She really, she handled her business when it came to Mary Kay, print car and all,
Yeah.
upgrade a couple of times.
Yeah. Once you
So
get in the bubble, I'm telling you, it just sucks
yeah.
you in. But it's a lot of fun. And
Mhm.
just
It's so
like I said,
exciting when you get an order. It's so exciting. Last night, my best friend, she texted me and she's like, "Oh yeah, I got the satin hands that you sent me, and I got the free sample that you gave me, and I gave it to mom, and she loved it, and she wants to order one now." I'm like, "What? Really? Okay." I got up, came to the computer, and I started. Okay, I'm sending it to. Okay, we're gonna cash out your money. I'm like, "Yay!" It's so exciting when it happens, but then you have your downtime too, and it's like, trying to get people to purchase, and it's like, wow, oh, come on. But I mean, it's great. It's great. I enjoy it. But no, my daughter, she signed up for it. And then, no, I paid for her to sign up for it. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I think I'll do this." And then it was like, "Okay, well, Jazz, you're going to, start talking to your friends about Mary Kay?" Mom, my friends are not going to buy Mary Kay. I was like, but my friends have natural hair. They have dreadlocks. They have this. They don't put that stuff on their face. I'm like, "But you said you were going to do it." I was going to try, but my friends are not going to do it. And I'm like, "But I paid for it. You're giving me my money back or something."
well, audience, it's
Well,
an
I know
amazing.
I have been, yeah, Mary Kay since I was 16 years old, introduced by my mother. Okay.
There you
I
are.
told Deborah, I'll be your best customer for sure. I love it. Absolutely.
Yes,
Mhm.
she is.
Yes. Ladies, that's another thing we're talking about because my children, oldest she's 45, and then the young 4, and the youngest is 26. And so they kind of grew up in the business with me. They kind of, that some, my oldest, she was already, supporting me. They support you how from afar. You know how you say that. Okay, mom, not quite understand. What are you doing, mom? What, daddy, what do y'all call yourself doing? But then in the same breath, always supporting, and then looking like, "Oh my goodness, y'all did this. Oh, you want that? Oh my goodness." And it's like I'm trying to help them. I've sat them down, talked with them, me and my husband, and we have shared with them about what this means to us. And the most important thing is to leave a legacy. That is it, because we can continue the income on and that's what is so important to us, because we didn't know what we were going to do before, but now we have an answer, an answer to that prayer, to be able to leave a legacy. And whether they get it or not, okay, they're all a part of it, whether they like it or not. But definitely whether they carry it on or not, I'm hoping that even if my adult children don't, the grandchildren will, because they see and definitely they see the entrepreneurship, because I have a daughter who now is like, I need to have my own business. Yes, that's all I that's exactly what I want you to get. Have your own business. So she's a remarkable cook, okay? Just excellent. And I have encouraged her to go into business and she wants to cook for those who have the special needs, the diets, the meal planning, I should say. And that's what she wants to specialize in, because she prepares such phenomenal meals that taste so good, but yet they're healthy, and plant-based meals and all of that. And so All I can do is encourage her, show her the ropes, put her with the people that she needs to be with to help her to be able to grow her business. If I can, be a blessing that way, then that way I know that she will be able to stand on her own, and to be able to have her own business, to be her own independent. So, I'm working on the other ones. The youngest one, the boy, he's we're working on. He's so very supportive. He's got what we do, but in the same breath, it's like, okay, we'll see. So all we can do is instill and hope for the best for our children.
Well, ladies, it's been an hour. So thank you all so much for sharing your journey with us and with our viewers. I mean, these were amazing stories, and we're all going to continue to do it. Nobody on this panel is going to give up. If anything, we're going to give it up to God, and God's going to take us where we need to be. We're going in the path that He has given us, not the path that we want. This is the path that He has chosen for us. But thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. I really, really appreciate it. And next week, we are going to be, everyone was talking about Mary Kay just recently. So next week, we're going to be actually talking about Mary Kay. We have Miss Portia Statewright is going to be with us next week. And we're going to be talking about Mary Kay and the benefits of Mary Kay and fantastic opportunities with Mary Kay. So join us next week for that. But remember, everything you heard and everything we said was our
point of view. Thank you, ladies, for joining.
Thank you.
So great to meet you all. Stay encouraged. Keep those businesses running.
Be blessed.
All right.